sucks. Wow, yeah, this is impressive, man. Last time I crossed the Mackinac Bridge into the UP and did a few days of camping in the Hiawatha National Forest. It was fantastic. Ooh, this looks so good. This looks so good. And all I had to do is keep riding just a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm half a mile off the highway.
As you can see, my hammock is set up. My bike is parked. It's pretty much stripped down. I'm awaiting the rain. But the worst thing is, I had to make a fire to get all these freaking mosquitoes off. I mean, it's barely working. I'm not getting bit. But I was thinking the smoke. Oh, let me throw the hammock up and hang the tarp just in case the rain comes. I can have something to throw everything under, and just throw everything in the hammock till I get everything buckled down. But mosquitoes were everywhere, and I'd already sprayed because I saw them when I got off the bike. I said, okay, well, they're not going to bite me, but they're all in my face and in my eyes. This is probably the worst mosquitoes I've ever seen. And doesn't seem like it much effect from the smoke. I guess I got to sit right in the smoke to keep the damn things off of me. But anyway, it's a nice spot. Weather's supposed to be coming in any minute within the next couple of hours through, I think, 2 a.m. and then it's decreasing chances. And then I think it's supposed to rain again tomorrow, so I may just hang out here. I've got enough supplies to get me by. I wish I had more water, but I really wasn't thinking about water. There's a river close by. I may just leave all my gear here and jet back somewhere and get some water if I have to stay here any length of time. But so it's starting to rain. I got some good coals going over there, but I got everything under the tarp. I enjoyed a few beers beside the fire, so I feel pretty good about that, even though I'm gonna have to go retire under the tarp. All the mosquitoes seem to have disappeared like I would expect, but this is Michigan, man. I don't know. Things are different here, so I'm gonna get my sleeping situation straightened out. Make sure everything is above the water line coming in. I'm not really concerned. I don't know that it's going to be really bad. There's supposed to be thunderstorms tomorrow night, so I got 2 days of just chilling in the woods. Hopefully, I've got enough water. If not, I'll don some rain gear on because my name is Don, and that's what I do when I put on rain gear. I don it. But yeah. Well, overall, that was a nice night. It was pretty warm, actually. It was warmer than riding yesterday, but I guess the warmth comes with the wet weather. It wasn't really that bad of a rain. It was more like a drizzle for a good part of the night. But yeah, there's more weather coming, and it's colder, and it looks like more wet and more cold, and Daddy don't like cold and wet, so probably going to be moving south pretty quickly, west and then south, and then back to Chicago and then out west. So I have made a couple of attempts to try to demonstrate the question that so many people have asked me, and the answer to that question, which is what do you do with all your stuff when you're camping in a tarp? And this is a pretty good illustration. It rained relatively hard, mostly straight down, but you can see the difference in the dry and the wet space, and you can see that basically if the rain's falling straight down, it's no big problem. If it's starting to come in from the sides, if it's blowing in, you have to be a little bit more careful. Worst case scenario, you could always take the tarp down to the ground. I just like having a lot of space. So this is just a quick illustration of wet and dry and the potentials
And like I said, if it's really stormy, you don't want your stuff getting spray on it or whatever. You could take the tarp all the way, almost all the way down to the ground. I guess you could take it all the way down to the ground. I've actually used this tarp as a tent before, so and it really depends on your tarp. So just answers the question that I've had so many times. What do you do with your stuff? How do you keep your gear dry? Because it's hard for people to imagine, camping outside of a tent. You think that the tent is the ultimate protection, and a really good tent, if it's relatively new, it's not worn out. A good tent is a pretty good place to hang out in the rain, except it sucks. There's no windows. I mean, there's some really fancy big tents that you have like a porch thing, but yeah, that's kind of what I talk about later on is, setting this thing up with a porch, and you can actually sit and watch the rain, which is kind of cool. I've gotten some spray before on some stuff, but it's kind of like, I don't know, you're out in the wilderness. What do you expect? My stuff has never been underwater in my hammock, and I've never been underwater. And I'm trying to think the worst thing that's ever happened. I think I got my gloves wet or something like that because I wasn't really paying attention. And that's really the thing that you got to do. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to your stuff. And when it starts raining, make sure that your stuff is still covered. Make sure. I'll tell you the one mistake that I have made is not configuring the tarp correctly and this stuff pooling in here. But usually when it pools, it just fills up until it can't take it anymore, and it just kind of spills out, which is kind of fun. You get a little waterfall over here on the side or whatever. But yeah, that's the worst thing that ever happened. So, oh well.
Describing before, it's a much more open configuration because it's really not raining. It's more like a drizzle. Few sprinkles every now and then, but I do want to keep it off my electronics. So while I'm working, I've got everything more open up, and it gives you that less claustrophobic, shut-in feeling like a tent is always going to do, unless you just take everything off with a bug net. So, but I mean, I could do that in the hammock if I wanted to. I could just get in the hammock and be under a bug net. But yeah, it's not raining right now. If it starts raining, I just grab a couple of these, put a stake back down the ground, stake it down, and I'm good to go for whenever it stops raining.
Alright, so since I'm clearly stuck here for another day because of the rain, and thunderstorms are coming in tonight, so I am a little bit concerned. So it's good to be set up and be relatively rainproof. As you can see, I'm leaving my camp, and I get this question a lot. Do you worry about that? Well, I could stealth the fuck out of that if I wanted to, but there's been nobody out here. If there was a lot of traffic, and usually I don't get this close to the road, usually I'll go down the road like that and turn up a trail like that and maybe get out beyond just to get. I don't want people knowing I'm here. I don't want people driving by and spreading dust. I don't want to be a victim, all that stuff. But in this case, I've been here, I don't know, 18 hours. Haven't even heard another vehicle, much less seen one. And I'll show you why here in a second. But I'm going into town to get some water and some food, because I'm very marginal on the water. I got some water a couple days ago, but I only got a gallon, and I'm like less than a gallon left, and that's 2 days. So I really should stop living off of beer. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think I just go straight up this road. I think I might hook a right. I'm not sure, but I'll look at it. So there's a couple of trees in the road up here, or at least one big one I had to actually go around. I think that would stop most people that don't want to scratch up their fancy off-road machine that they never take off-road. I think that would stop most people. It usually does. Yeah, you get some old hillbillies, some old rednecks like me with a beat-up truck. That ain't gonna stop them. Not ain't gonna slow them down. They'll just roll over it or roll through it. You know, they're not worried about scratches. So
But yeah, most people. But you know, I guess maybe you could say, well, maybe the hillbillies are the ones you need to worry about. Yeah, maybe. All right, so that's the road I took yesterday, thinking, and that's got a couple of trees down that way. So yeah, I just bounced right through this thing yesterday with a full pack. It's a whole lot easier. This bike is actually pretty good off-road when it's not loaded down with Big Bertha. I got to go back and grab that clip of Big Bertha that I did not publish. Yeah, I'm really not that far off the freaking road. This is almost like pavement here. Yeah, so I'm surprised I haven't had any visitors at all. So this is Hiawatha National Forest. Last time I checked. And I did a quick search this morning for my Dollar General, which is always my my clinch. So that's what I use in the clinch. You know, supplies, accessories, all that stuff. There's all kinds of roads around here. Yeah, these are all, well, no, that's not a forest road. And I could be on private property. I could be in big trouble. Somebody comes and cleans me out in a few minutes. But I figure I'm 8 miles from Family Dollar, which I don't typically shop at. But there's one that's a whole lot closer than anything else. There's really nothing else around here. But if I can get some water and some food, and maybe a snack or two to keep me occupied in the boredom that's coming, I can make it through another night. Just got done editing. I think that was episode 3. I don't know what to call them, so I just go episode 3. Hey, if you're on episode 3 and you didn't see episode 2, go back and watch that. Hey, what about episode 1? It's kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me. I don't know. What do you think? There's a nice church. There we go. Family Dollar, baby. Family Dollar. Oh yeah, we got all kinds of good stuff here.
So I would call this a hard drizzle, not really a downpour, but you know, it's enough rain to get me wet, and it almost did. I gotta go do a short hike just up the hill and over and see what was on the other side. I have my rain jacket on, but I didn't have my rain pants on. All I had was my little adventure croc. And I got about halfway to the top of the hill. I was like, oh, it started tick, 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 and it comes on fast. I was like, oh, let me, this is probably a good time to turn around. So I started turning around, and I got about halfway back to the camp, and yeah, it started coming down. Not quite as bad as this, but almost got wet. Almost got my pants wet, and I've got 4 things that cover my leg. My rain gear, which is very uncomfortable with anything but riding. I've got my thermals, which go under whatever I'm wearing. These, what I would call my pajama pants. They're like a nylon, real stretchy, very comfortable. And then I got my pants. Carhartt. That's all I've got. So if I get one pair wet, I'm kind of screwed. So I want to show you one thing. Just kind of wondering if I decided not to go into town and get water. I could have probably collected water pretty quickly. That's been there in about less than 5 minutes. I just set it out there before I turned the camera on. So yeah, no telling how long it would take me to fill up. I mean, that's relatively fresh water. If you discount the bird shit that was on top of my tarp from the dunes. I'm having fun. I don't really like being inside that much. I like being able to sit out, but I don't know what the weather's going to do. If I knew it was just going to sprinkle like this, I would porch mode the tarp. But then it becomes a management thing. I have to manage the water, make sure it's not filling up, you know, all this stuff. So, and I got a bunch of sensitive stuff under here. And it's not summer here. It's still almost winter, I think. Yep, that's right. That's hail. Welcome to Michigan. Upper Peninsula Ale. I will always remember this trip. It's starting to get cold too, but I feel like I need to get 2 or 3 beers in me before it starts freezing. These beers, I've had these since I don't know. I got them around noon, and they're still so cold. The one time I really don't need that cold of a beer. All right, well, 7 o'clock. Looks like it's finally stopped raining. It hasn't drizzled even probably 30 minutes or an hour or so. I am what you might call confident. And I'm going to get down the trail here, the thing that I was trying to do earlier when it was just slightly drizzling. I got about halfway up this hill and it just started tick, 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 tick. I was like, the one dry outfit that I can sleep in and be really warm and comfortable. And I am risking it, so I turned around and hoofed it. And it's hard to hoof it in these damn adventure Crocs. But I want to see what's out here besides the little area that I'm sitting in. When it was pouring down and hailing earlier, I swear I heard a 4-wheeler. But it's almost like it was hard to believe because they were hauling ass, which makes a lot of sense. Unless they were in a side-by-side. I guess it could have been a side-by-side, but they were hauling ass like they were getting pounded by hail, so kind of makes a little bit of sense. But this is a very lush and green place. This reminds me a lot of Oregon and the Pacific Northwest. It's very green, even though it's kind of yellow now. But look at this carpet. This is a carpet. It's not grass. This is like a very thick moss. And here's some critter poop right there. I don't recognize that. It looks pretty large though, almost like. I'm anxious to get on the road. It's supposed to be cold tomorrow. Actually, I think it's like the next few days it's supposed to be cold. That's what I wanted to check because I wanted to update the weather and find a place where it's not going to be cold. Because I've been just riding in the cold, that doesn't really fill any purpose. But yeah, if I can ride somewhere that's warmer, I think everything's gonna. I think this is a front that's going through. So Saturday morning, and right now you're probably watching episode 2. That shows you how far behind you are. Well, while I'm filming this, you're probably watching episode 2. This is going to be, I think I'm about a week and a half behind. I don't care. I'm going to try to put out 2 videos a week, which means I'll finish up the series in December next year. I'm having a lot of fun despite it's cold and wet, but as you can see, breaking through the clouds back here, poof, sunlight. I think it's like less than 20% chance of rain today, so I'm rolling. It's not getting any warmer. It looks like it's getting into the mid 30s at night, which is not real fun for me. I mean, I know I'm going to have those nights. It's just, it looks like a week of it, and it's like all of a sudden I'm losing interest with the UP, the Upper Peninsula. So I'm heading west and then south. I've got tentative plans to meet up with a couple of dudes. One of them you know, one of them you don't. if you watch my channel for the last couple of years, you'll know one of the dudes. He's a very interesting cat, and he's got an interesting story. But I have tentative plans to meet up with him and ride with him and another dude at the same time, so around the same time. So we're trying to piece all that puzzle together. But right now I'm cooking coffee, and shortly after that we'll be packing up and getting on the road. So I just wanted to re-emphasize, or somebody might say beat a dead horse. I wanted to show you, now that I've got the tarp off, I wanted to show you the footprint was left by the tarp. And it's a little bit skewed because initially I had the tarp pulled way over here. I'm not really sure why. I've got to mentally fix that. I need to tarp it in the back first and then pull it forward. So most of my dry spots and space in particular are going to be in the front. But this is, so basically it's a little bit skewed. So this is a little bit more wet than it should be. So if I would have set it up correctly, it probably would have been about right here. So that's a lot of space. I mean, that's as big or bigger than any inside of a tent, so keep that in mind. But not just that, everything's pretty much dry. I got a little bit of spray, you got spray coming in, and you could fix that. But yeah, just I wanted to resolve some of the concerns that people have had, and I've had a lot of it. I've had a lot of people ask me that same question over and over: is where do you put your stuff? How do you keep your stuff dry? And there's lots of different ways to do it. And there's quite a few people that tarp all the way down to the ground like a tent. So there's not going to be the spray. You're going to have more of a footprint. But I like being able to get in and out without crawling on the ground. So yeah, I'm probably always going to tarp, or most of the time, 90% of the time I'm going to tarp it just like you saw, or a variation of that. So it's, it's far enough off the ground so me to be able to get in and out. There's enough light coming in, and yeah, it's a lot more comfortable and easy to fly the tarp, or front porch the tarp, however you want to say it. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a better idea, because I think this is a concern that a lot of people have, and I want to convert as many people as possible to hammock camping, because it's so much better. It's so much better than being a ground dweller. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to elevate yourself? Why wouldn't you want to be a sky dweller? Why would you want to be a savage? It's time for you to evolve. It's time for you to actually live your life like a human being. This is a great camp spot. I really enjoyed this. I wished it would have been nicer. I wish it would have been a little bit more dry, a little bit less cold. But I'm pretty sure, I'm quite certain that I'm done with the Michigan winters, and I'm not sure that I'm ever going to want to come back up here, except maybe in the dead of freaking summer, maybe like August. Maybe it's warmer then. I don't know. But yeah, Saturday morning, it is almost 9 o'clock Eastern, and I got my winter gloves on. I'm about to turn my damn heaters on. Oh, and hopefully I don't slip and slide all the way out of here. Oh, it was so fun riding this bike yesterday with nothing on it except my electronics. That was a real treat. Now I'm back to big old Bertha back there, and she is... Whoa, shit. Battery sounds a little bit... Oh, yes, that's right. I'm duck walking because I haven't woken up yet. Oh, so now I just got to weave my way out. The road is really not bad at all, except for the tree.
There's a few branches in the road, but no biggie. It may be a little bit muddier today because it rained a good bit yesterday. I have at least 1 foot off the peg to dab when I go around this tree, because that's probably the slipperiest part I'm going to be hitting. And then back on the road, I'm going to get up here and take a left. Yeah, this is the trickiest part right here. And it's not even tricky. It's just Big Bertha, man. Big Bertha's really making me rethink. It's like, what do I get rid of? So I left the big firebox and all that alcohol stove crap behind, because I mean, what's the point? If I've got to fill the damn thing with alcohol, it's just a big ass grill. Yeah, I'm still kind of angry about that. And the funny thing is, oh, there's nobody on the road. It's Saturday, so nobody's going back and forth to work. I've got 67 miles to get some gas.
So it was a real struggle being as cold as it was. I rode all the way from the Hiawatha back to Chicago that day, and it didn't start warming up until I got back down to Milwaukee. But I learned my lesson, and next time I will listen to the folks from the north, and when they tell me it's too early, it's too cold.
It's a fucking ocean. It's a fucking ocean, and it's got waves. Welcome to the Michigan Ocean. It's not a lake, it's an ocean. This is what Dopey looks like. Oh my God. Wow. That was quite the experience.
Got your ass kicked, huh?
Dude. Seriously, I didn't think I was going to make it. I was like, I got to do something. I got to do something different. And I got...
What about that?
Oh, yeah.